So first of all, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Marco Piras. I am the director of this master course. First of all, I would like to thank Professor Francesco Laio, who is the past director, and from this new edition, I am the director, and I would like to thank Francesco for the past activity and for the very, very important activity carried out to supporting the master. So this is a second level specializing master. It means that it's possible to participate to this master having a Master of Science degree. Okay, that is very important for information. Another very important information is the deadline. I would like to immediately to say what is the deadline. The deadline is the 22nd of October at 1 o'clock in the noon. Okay, so that please don't make a last minute application, because in some cases it's necessary to verify your documentation and to spend sometimes to verify everything. Then please save the date about the deadline, and please try to close everything before the deadline, some days before. So we're starting to talk about the master. The master is called Climate Change, Adaptation and Mitigation Solution. And why it's very important, the topic, the subject of this master. Of course, the climate change is a very famous and a very critical problem nowadays. So as you see that we have a very strange direction and a very particular condition with respect with several points of view. For example, looking the climate change affect many different domains, not only, for example, the economics, or not only the agriculture, or not only the earth, but the climate change invests a lot of possible domain. And in particular, the climate change, looking this picture, is a very, very complex problem, because depends by many different factors. For example, this is the climate change point of view in terms of analytical framework. Okay, so that you can see it is not easy to identify just one problem, but it's necessary to investigate the problem knowing different aspect and considering different possible solutions. For example, looking the complexity of the climate change finance flow, even looking on the economical point of view, the climate change generates a very complex problem. So what we want to do in this master, of course, in this master is not possible to solve or to fix the problem about the climate change, because it's very, very complex, but we want to look the problem under solution point of view. We want to give to the student different tools, different knowledge in order to tackle, in order to try to investigate, try to analyze the climate change under different point of view. In particular, on this master, we can try to give you the possible tools in order to define and to find local solution in order to improve, for example, the resilience, in order to improve the capability of the environment, of the earth with respect to climate change. The students, in our case, are exposed to some basic knowledge about the dynamics of the climate change, the planet Earth, the economic impact, but not only. The very innovative aspect in this master is the aspect related to the potential mitigation and adaptation. What are the possible solution in terms of mitigation and adaptation? We can see later when we talk about the subject, when we talk about the program, that there is a specific modules about mitigation and adaptation, because it's very, very important on our point of view, this aspect. And this is the very innovative, the very unique aspect of this master with respect to the possible other competitors. In this master, why you have to choose this master? We have tried to simplify, to summarize the key points in this page, in this slide. First of all, it's important to understanding or to obtain some knowledge about the global warming, the dynamics of the problems, and in particular to associate the climate change with the aspect in terms of the natural and built environment. After that, it's important to know and to receive a complete detail about the possible technological solution that drive us for transition about, for example, decarbonization in some very, very high or important sectors like energy, transport, agriculture, buildings, and so on. And in particular, in this master, we spend a lot of time to analyze not only the theoretical point of view, but to investigate also some real situation, discussing real cases to see together how works the solution, how works the technology, and how this solution is or it's possible to be implemented in the real cases. After that, we spend, and it's important, this master, because we try to sharing the time and the program, not only on the theoretical point of view, sharing our expertise with the top level university, but even including, and this is a very, very important factors, with the top managers, several top managers from private sectors. One of the most important aspect of this master, of this program, is that there are a lot of companies involved in the master, but directly involved, making some lecture, making some discussing with you, and the companies activate several internships in order to sharing with you directly in the field, so directly in the company, the competence, the expertise, and in order to sharing with you also the case. And on the last point, I just introduced this aspect, is a very, very important, the possibility to learn practical experience, working with the people who every day work about the climate change, in particular on the domain regarding energy production, food production, processing, service, sustainability, and so on. Then one of these aspects is very, very particular and very, very unique in this master, is that you have the possibility to cooperate with the lecturer, with the professor, but also with the top manager, in order to improve your, or to increase your knowledge with respect to the practical experience. So this aspect, the role of the companies, is very, very specific, and it's very, very important, because in this way it's possible to see the role of each component in terms of society, in terms of community, and so on. But in particular, it's impossible to see what is the role and what are the activity carried out by the companies. Typically, the companies, they need our help, but also we need their help, because we need to obtain some feedback, several feedback about the requirement, about what they need in terms of competence. Be careful, because several cases, or in some case, the competence or the knowledge in the internal competence or the internal knowledge in the companies is not enough. Then they need to improve, they need to increase these aspects, improving and following the activity and requiring also specific competence. Okay, then this aspect is, we will see later, it's very important even for job opportunities, because the companies, our companies that are involved in this master require a lot. The competence and the profile, the careers, I would say, derived by this master profile. So then there are a very good opportunity for working together with the companies, but also a good opportunity to create a network with a different professional profile, but also with different companies or different experts. So how is organized the master? The master is organized in this way. It's a one-year program, scheduled from January to December. That's 12 months. It's a full time from Monday to Friday. And it is combined by 4 modules, including frontal lecture, laboratory, hands-on tutorials, and so on. Typically, these 4 modules are carried out from January to July. And after that, starting by September to November, this period is dedicated for the internship. Okay, so the internship is realized, is carried out in one of the partner companies, but it's not mandatory. Okay, we can see later. After that, in December, there is the award ceremony, where, of course, you can obtain the final title, the final degree. So it's just to have the complete the completion of the master. It's necessary that you reach 64 credits. Okay, so that's, you have to reach you have to complete the program for each courses included in the program. Okay, just to give you an overview about the detail about the modules. The modules are organized in this way. We have 4 modules. You can see each module is organized in a different amount of hours. Sorry that I ask you to switch off your microphone. Okay, thank you. And you can see the effort required in each module is a little bit different. We're starting with the first module about the preliminary courses, where this module is dedicated to give you some basic information about so what are the effects, or what are the reasons of the climate change, what are the factors related to the climate change, something about the Earth observation, the policy, the aspect related to the economics and finance, and something about the energy transition and global sustainability. That is a very, very basic introduction about these key factors, key point about the climate change. After that, we spend the second and the third module about the mitigation and about the adaptation. You can see the number of the hour dedicated is very, very high. And in particular, in the module about the mitigation, we discuss about the carbon dioxide. It means what are the possible technology, how to capture the carbon how it's possible to measure the carbon footprinting, the carbon trading. What about the sustainable transport system, or how to obtain a more efficient buildings in terms of energy or in terms of capability. So then also talking about the new energy, okay, that we spend this time in order to discuss about this point. In the second part, so in the module 3, we talk about the adaptation, and in particular, we can see how the communities, how our city are able to adapt themselves to the climate change. It means we talk about the climate resilience cities, we talk about the extreme event, of course. We discuss about how the agriculture and climate change are connected. So in the modules food, water, nexus, we talk about the sustainable management and how the infrastructure are resilient, or how it's possible to create resilient infrastructure system. In the last module, we talk about the corporate approach to the climate change. So we will see how the companies today apply the climate change policy, and in particular, we can see the corporate associate accountability, the aspect related to the supply chain and the green procurement. We can see something that is very, very important about the climate change compliance reporting and communication, how the companies are able to transfer the information about the climate change compliance to the citizen, for example, or to the other competitors. And what about the eco-innovation and social enterprise? So this is more or less the very, very rapid overview about the modules. And just to see that in this total amount, a very huge quantity of time, you will have a general introduction about the climate change and some fundamental aspect, passing through the mitigation and adaptation up to arrive how this information and how these theoretical part are applied in companies, or how will be defined and adopted in companies. So the board of the lecturer is composed by some professor who comes from the university, but also some professor who comes from companies. Okay, and as you see in this slide, the board, the faculty is composed by professor from Politecnico di Torino, professor from Università Internazionale di Catalunya, Università di Trento. So we have a very, very top level university faculties that the professor comes from different university, but even from different companies. In fact, in some modules, the lesson are carried out, are held by professor from university, but even by top manager from companies. It's possible that in some case the lesson are offered by even by some research institution. Okay, like I will introduce later a colleague of mine. In particular, during the lesson, it's possible to have this very important opportunity to discuss, to have a very active, proactive activity and proactive discussion with top manager from business sector, in particular with some specific topics, for example, energy, transportation, buildings, food, where it's possible to sharing or to discussing with them some specific problem in order to obtain their expertise, to eventually to discuss and to see what are the future challenge, what are the opportunities, in particular deriving from the ongoing climate crisis. So we have mentioned a lot the aspect related to the internship and partners. This is the list of the corporate partners and the scientific partners who participate in the last edition. Then it's not the new panel, but it is the panel, the list of the last edition. And you can see that in this list we have some partners, some corporate partners, and some scientific partners, because it's important to, even for our point of view, to give you these two components, corporate and scientific. In this point, it's possible that during one lesson, one top manager or maybe one colleagues who comes from the research companies comes to sharing with you some case study. So depending, considering what is the situation about the pandemic, but so considering the real condition, we will organize 1 week workshop with the partner companies and visit in one or different sites with respect to the different partner location. Moreover, we organize an internship about 500 hours, where it's possible to work directly in the companies developing a specific project work. Usually the companies propose a topic of the internship. There is a selection, and after that you can start the internship directly in the last part of the master. Just to see, if you see in the list of the possible partners, we cover several domains, from energy, food, buildings, water, so assurance, so that there is a very wide spread of the possible domain and possible competence. About the scientific partners, we have Enel Foundation, ELIS, SEMWF, and Istituto Italiano di Tecnologia. So that is a very excellent and outstanding corporate and scientific partners list. What about the future? What about the careers opportunities? That's the careers opportunities is nowadays a very high, very good moment, is a very good moment for the climate change specialist, in particular in innovation and sustainability, because a lot of company, a lot of even research institutes require this competence. In particular, they want expert about the infrastructure resilience, energy transition, urban planning and development, insurance and finance, certification, for example, even for, of course, research institute and academy, government agency, international organization. It's possible to find something about the innovative environmental technologies, for example, that there is a very big opportunity to find a job in this domain. In particular, looking what is reported by the International Labour Organization, about 24 million new jobs will be created globally by 2030. We respect the greener economy. And even if you see what are the European program? The new European program are quite based on the green economy. Okay, then the green aspect is a very key point for the European program, for the European project, for the European founding. In particular, you can see that on the right, in December 2021, the number of the open job position, including the keywords climate change, is around 2,500 plus in Europe, and 18,000 in worldwide. That's it is a very, very excellent point, because we are totally in this challenge, and we are able to create a very high specialist, a high expert on climate change, thanks to this master. So what are the admission requirements? Just to, yes, thank you for your, you see, oops, sorry. Okay, so sorry, I just read the question. What about the admission requirements? So we consider why our consideration about this master is that the climate change is not only an aspect related to a specific domain. Then, starting by this point, our idea, our proposal is to open this master to a very wide possible applicants, in particular to a very wide number of list of master science degree. If you see, it's possible to apply or to activate the apply if you are in one of these following areas: engineering, architecture, geography, science and technology, agriculture science, mathematics, physics, biology, chemistry, economics, geoscience, that is a very, very big domain, and computer science. But not only, because if you have a master science degree out of this list, is not a problem. You can submit your position, you can submit your application, because it's possible that the commission evaluate your past experience. Then, yes, it's important what is your master science degree, but not only. It's also important what is your past experience. It means if you have maybe a different master science degree, I invite you, if you have a good curricula or a very robust or a good past experience, to submit your position, your application, and the commission will analyze it. Of course, it's very important for all applicants to certificate, to prove that you have a good English level. And so if you want to read more detail, please visit our website to see other detail. What is important to submit when you do the application? It's very important to submit a motivation letter, because the selection will be based on your motivation letter, why you want to do this master, and what is your academic background, including a summary of your master thesis, just to know what is your background, what is your past experience, what is, of course, your motivation. The second point is that when we realize the selection, to analyze the significance and the coherence with the master topics of your professional formative experience. Just to say eventually that how your past experience could be correlated to the knowledge and to the topics developed in this master. And after that, we have a first selection, and we realize an interview of the shortlisted candidates, okay, just to selecting the candidates, the final candidates, the final student. Okay, so just to give you some feedback about the past experience, but later we have a real talk with one past student. So the feedback are very, very positive because the students are satisfied by the level of the course. In particular, they appreciate a lot the interactivity in the course, that we have not a one-way communication, but we discuss together between professor, student, we have a real cooperation in the class, okay, talking about case studying, open discussion, and so on. They are very interesting about the project work, in particular related to the carbon footprint, about the climate change report, sustainability, health observation, monitoring, and so on. And they agree a lot the aspect related to the knowledge contamination, because this class is composed by different competence. Then you have time to sharing your competence with other students who comes from different experience. Then this is a very, very important key. Just to give you a big picture about the last edition, we have selected 25 students in this edition, 2021, over 64 candidates. You can see the distribution of the nationalities, the academic background. You can see it's not homogeneous. The academic background is very, very varied. So we can start by biology, design, physics, geography, and so on. So the gender part is quite guaranteed, and even the age of the student is variable. So then the age is not a factor for the selection. Okay, so depends by your past careers, what are your motivation. Okay, you can see even the distribution is quite homogeneous. It is a very, very international master. So moving on the last part of my presentation, timeline, very, very important. I mentioned it at the beginning. The application submission is the 22nd of October. So you have more or less 8 days. Very, very important. Please don't wait the last minute, okay, because it's important for our office to verify everything and eventually to support you to prepare the document, okay, the documentation, the formalities. Then please don't wait the last minute. The program, the master, we will start in January 2022. At the moment, the class and the lesson are organized in presence, so here in Turin, and the awards ceremony will be in December 2022. What about the fee, the tuition fee and waivers? So the participation fee is 4,000 euros for the entire years, including lecturers, didactic materials, technical visit, everything. Okay, that's you in this fee. It's included these 3 points. It's possible to win and to have a particular scholarship, a particular merit waivers. There are 10 waivers of 400,000 euros each, practically in order to covering the entire participation fee. And there are other 10 scholarship about 2,000 euros, just to covering half part of the participation field. Okay, then if you want to have more details, there is a specific section in the call for application. I would like to highlight that this participation fee doesn't include the internship. Okay, that is not salary or an additional money for the internship. Okay, so if you want or if you need more details, or if you have specific question, or so, if we can help you, please contact us. This is our email, and the email. The first one is the email of our master office at Polito, and the second one is the master scientific secretary in our department. Okay, so for any type of question, or if you need a specific help, please contact us. Okay, so this is the short summary of the master, just to summarize the most important point, but you have the same information in the call for application. The maximum number of the participants is 25. Okay, and the class will be held in Turin, in particular in the campus Lingotto, that is dedicated for master class. Okay, this is the link for the call for application. Okay, so that's I stop my presentation. Sorry. Okay, that's all. I hope that I gave you some details, some more details, but I would like to also to sharing my floor with other two colleagues, and first of all, I would like to thanks Gianpaolo Balsamo, and I don't see Gustavo. There is Gustavo. Sorry, that's Gustavo Mendes. Okay, okay. Sorry, because there are a lot of windows that I'm missing you. So I would like to thanks Gianpaolo and Gustavo that accept to participate this evening, just to give a very short greeting, and just to give a short feedback about their experience. So I would like to start by Gianpaolo. Gianpaolo is a researcher in the ACMWF, and also is a friend of mine and a colleague of mine in the module, in the course Earth observation and climate monitoring. And so I would like to ask to Gianpaolo, ACMWF is a scientific partners starting by the last 1 year. And so I would like to ask to Gianpaolo, please. So maybe I am very happy for this master, but I would like to know, and please give to the audience your opinion also, or your point of view about about the master. But I think that will be very, very important to know your point of view about the climate change and the job opportunities, because
Absolutely.
you are very expert. Thank you, Gianpaolo.
Thank you very much, Marco, for the opportunity to talk today. And yes, my opinion about the master is that is a really an innovative offer in terms of educational to really go forward and be competent about the thematic of climate change, independently from what is your current background, in order to be able to talk competently about climate change as an economic problem, as a scientific problem, as a societal impactful issue, which is more and more on the on the scene from the media to the public. So a few words about me. So I'm a principal scientist and I lead a team here at ECNWF, which is the European Center for Medium Range Weather Forecast. We are tasked to produce a global forecast for the weather, and we are a global leader in medium range weather forecasting. So meaning forecasting the weather for the week ahead, 10 days ahead. And also we run ensemble forecasting in order to be able to characterize extreme events. And the extreme events are really the topic which I cover very much in my part of the module, talking about extreme events in the water cycle, so particularly the weather events, the flooding, and the droughts, so the two extreme of the water cycle and the big impact they have more and more in different area of the world, but also extremes in the environmental aspect. So ECNWF is also tasked to run on behalf of the European Commission 2 of the Copernicus services, which are big hands of the European Commission to monitor the planet and its modifications. And those two are the Copernicus Climate Change Service and the Copernicus Atmospheric Monitoring Service. So I usually try to extract examples from extreme events which have been monitored by climate reanalysis or environmental reanalysis to really give a sense of how important it is to really monitor extremes, be aware, so raise the awareness of the impact of droughts, of extreme pollution events. So we tend to underestimate what is the impact of pollution, but recent studies are really showing that this is really one very serious threat, and we are able to predict, thanks to use of weather model combined with chemistry, predict also the state of the atmosphere in terms of pollutants. So yeah, all that is covered in part of the course. My experience in the past 2 years has been really tremendously positive, also as a learning experience for myself. A lot of the students I met in the previous 2 editions, I'm still in contact with, and there is also a network that gets developed thanks to the master course, and definitely there are job opportunities in the area. So as you know, the sustainable development goals are, going towards a mitigation for climate change. There is a very big agenda at the European Union level, and each of the European countries are really making an effort to reducing emissions like CO2 and other greenhouse gases. So definitely is a very blooming sector. So not only from the scientific part, what I'm part of, but also from a societal point of view, communications. So there is really a wide range of opportunities that are related to climate change, to be knowledgeable about climate change and its impact. And therefore, I think the master is really covering very many of these aspects with a lot of variety in the modules. So my experience has been very positive, and I'm looking forward for the 2022 edition.
So
thank you very much, Marco.
Thank you very much, Gianpaolo. That I appreciate your that you have highlight the aspect related to what is the activity about the European Commission and the European community about this aspect, because so there are a lot of opportunity not only for research, but even for job that's related to this point. There are a very, very high request about this type of expertise. Then nowadays, the good way, the good moment to learning this and to improving the knowledge about this point, and you have mentioned that. And I would like also to say that your research center activate one position, one internship position, then there is this very important opportunity, I think, but also the other position are very important. But considering that you are here, that I would like to highlight this aspect. Then I think that it is a very very interesting point. Okay, thank you very much, Gianpaolo. And so now I leave the floor to Gustavo. Okay. Thank you very much that you accept my invitation, because my point of view it's very important to have directly a feedback from a student who participate very actively into the master, just to have your point of view about in particular, what about at the end of the master? What is the lesson learned by this experience, and what is the benefits that you have obtained by this master?
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Professor Marco, for the invitation. It's an honor to be here. And yes, I was part of actually, I did the same webinar in 2021, so I know what and yes, I was part of the first class in 2020. Very good experience. I was in that photo that you put in your presentation. Actually, I was chatting with my colleagues here a while ago, and we noticed that we don't have that photo. So can you please provide? Okay.
Absolutely. You are the pioneer of this master.
Yeah. And yes, if I can put in a single sentence, like in a nutshell, about this master, is that it delivers. It worked for me. I reached my goals by doing the master. So I had one idea, one intention before I joined, and I'm here doing exactly what I planned to do before that. So yes, tell you quickly about my story. I know we're a bit short on time, but I'm from Brazil, and I'm an electrical engineer. I had done my telecommunication, my master at the Politecnico back in 2005, 2006. So yes, I'm a little older than I think the medium student. So I'm 39 now. Yes, but after graduating from Polito in 2006, I came back to Brazil, and I had always worked in the petroleum industry, oil and gas. I worked many years in Brazil. Then I moved to Middle East, worked another good number of years in the Emirates and Saudi Arabia. And at a certain point of my career, I was looking for something different. I wanted to move to Europe, looking for, say, increase my quality of life. That was my goal at the point. And I looked for a job in my area for a couple of times, and I was just finding the walls. I could not find anything in Europe. So I decided to do a step change and start over. Look for something new, something that is blooming right now, like Professor Balsam said, which is, pardon, sustainability and climate change. And then I saw this opportunity at Polito, and I knew Polito already. I knew Torino. For those of you who don't, it's the most marvelous city that you can imagine. It's a great place to live. Polito is a great school. And then I was already aware that it was a good opportunity, and then I joined. I had an issue with my video. I don't see Professor anymore. Is everything okay? Can I keep?
Yes, thank you.
Can I keep going? Okay. All right. Sorry about that.
No problem.
And then now it's back. And then I joined the course looking for career change. I said I will do this course so afterwards I can find a job in climate change in Europe. So about the course a little bit, the experiences it's 10 over 10. The professors are awesome. They're really world class. They give you all the support that you need. Elise's team and Polito staff, they are also great. They do everything to support you. The school, the material. I have nothing to say about anything. Then I did this stage at NL. I suppose they're still partners for the 22 edition, right? Yeah. So I did internship at NL. I chose the internship that I wanted, and it was a good fit because I'm an electrical engineer. The things that I studied and learned during the 6 months of classes, I did apply in my internship, so that was also grand. Obviously, I did in 2020, so we were hit by COVID. I just took 4 weeks of presential classes, then we went online, but that's something else. And the thing is about the internship also is that they could not retain me for several reasons. One of them is that I don't have European passports, so that was a big issue for them. But that was in February. In February this year, they made the decision that they wouldn't be able to hire me. But immediately I found a job here in Ireland, where I am at now. I'm working for iGrid, which happens to be the Terna of Ireland, and I'm very satisfied. I tell you, like, I wouldn't be able to get the job and the life that I have today if I hadn't done the master. So thanks, Professor Pires, and I wish you guys a great year. And I'm pretty sure that you will be satisfied. Thank you.
So thank you very much, Gustavo. And first of all, I immediately send you the picture because it's important to have this particular moment. So I appreciate your talk and your speech, because you say that even the cooperation with the other student is very, very important. And this is one very particular and very important point of this master, because the competence, not only about the professor, but the competence about the participant are different. So you have the time and the opportunity to sharing this competence, talking, try to solving the problem together with not only by the professor, but together with the student, making a lot of working group, making a lot of discussion, and so try to also to create a network, not only for us or the network with the companies, but as Gustavo say, I'm very, very happy for this, for that, the network between the participant, the student, that is also a good opportunity for the future. That you have this network about the participant, good network, then typically is a very permanent network, okay, that a permanent contact. Okay, so thank you very much, Gustavo. Then now, so if you have a question, or if you have a particular, you need specific information, public discussion, I tried eventually to introduce some possible question. The first one is about maybe the didactic, the class. At the moment, the class are planned to be in presence. So I invite you to stay here in Turin, because in this way is more efficient, and the benefit that you derive from the class is either then remote, and in this way, for this edition, we are going to organize a more more activity outside, so out in the single companies. Then if you are here, of course, this situation is better. The deadline for the call is the 22nd. Typically, we're starting the activity of the commission in November. That's we complete everything before the end of November, okay, and we'll publish the final ranking before the end of November, typically. Okay. So, of course, this is also required just to give you the time to prepare eventually the visa and the other formalities. I have just an additional information about the internship. Every year, the companies or the research center propose a position about the internship, but if you want, it's possible to propose a different internship. So it means if you are able to find another internship, maybe in another companies or in another institutes, it's possible then to to propose a different internship. Okay, we respect what are proposed by the companies or the research institute. About the past students, so you have to consider that about the previous two edition, just one is totally completed. The second one is still ongoing because the second edition will be completed at the end of the year. Okay, so that's at the moment we have just 25 students that are totally completed the activity. So on my experience, so a greater part of the students have been involved or have a cooperation with the companies. Okay, that's I don't know exactly the number. I don't know if Elisa knows the number, but I know that the number of the students who cooperate with the companies is very, very high. So typically the accommodation is not part of the participation fee. The accommodation is close to our campus. There are a lot of buildings dedicated for campus, for student campus. Then it's possible eventually to have an accommodation in this campus, or eventually to have a private flat, or maybe. So the cost of the flat is not very, to rent a flat is not very high. Okay, that's it's possible eventually to sharing the flat with other students.
Marco, concerning this, I'm putting into the chat a link, and there you can check if there are any calls open for foreign students.
Yeah, exactly. So
we
yes,
invite
exactly.
you to check this link to see if there is something that can help you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you, Elisa. If you are able to submit your application as soon as possible, because in this way our office can help you if something is doesn't work. Okay, just to eventually to resubmit the proposal and so on. So our office require administrative office require time to reading, to verify the documentation. Then in this way, yes, you can you could be supported and you could be helped to eventually if something wrong, okay, in your attachment. Yes. So the approach adopted by this master is mainly based on engineering-based climate solution, but not only. So there are some part, for example, the wood, the aspect related to the food and water, or maybe other points where we have also a description and a discussion about the possible nature-based climate solution. Okay, but mainly it is based on engineering solution.
In any case, if you have doubts about this, you can write to master.universitari@polito.it. If you don't find your answers in the call, they can help you in verifying, for example, equivalence of your diploma. But if it is equivalent to a Master of Science degree, it is fine to us.
Yes, absolutely. So. At the moment, I think that, please, Elisa, tell me that we don't have the cooperation with South Pole or Carbon Sink. but are involved with other climate change consulting agency at the moment.
Yes, exactly. And I would say that for sure, these types of agencies are a possible target for our students. And also, as you, Marco, said before, we provide a list of internships, for example, but students are free to find other opportunities and to discuss them with the director. And if the program director verifies that the company, the internship is in line with the master's objectives, for sure, you can also establish an internship project with them.
Yeah, absolutely. So about the internship is it's not mandatory to spend the internship only in one of the open position proposed by the companies. It's possible eventually to propose by yourself an internship, and if this internship is coherent and the committee agree, so you can start the internship directly in another position, so in other companies. Okay. Yes, so depends by the number of the position, the number of the possible participants to a single internship. Typically, the companies propose a position and a topic. You can select the topic. If there are more than one participant or interesting people, usually the company organize an interview talking with the single student, just to eventually to identify the most qualified, or so just to talk with you the possible. Yes, of course, your background will be considered at this point. Usually, the internship is not founded, so then you don't have any financial compensation for the internship typically. But it's possible that one company give you some refundation, so refunding you eventually the cost of eventually about the transport, or eventually the cost that you have working in this company. Okay, but the internship usually is not covered by financial compensation. Okay, then you are not paid for the internship. About so this is a full-time master. It means that each module is each course is a very, how to say, concentrate and very hard course. It means that you spend 30 hours or 20 hours, depends by the course, every week. So, for example, if you have a course about 30 hours, it means that you spend 6 hours per day about lesson. Okay, then the lesson starting on Monday and up to Friday. Then it means that you have to attending the lesson every day, 6 hours, or starting by 9 o'clock up to 5 o'clock in the evening, typically. Okay, so I would like to also to say that it's possible eventually, if you are interested, of course, to participate to the entire master, or eventually to following just one module, one course. Okay, so if you are interested, and it's possible to even to participate only about one specific course. So if you want to eventually to attend just about one single course. Typically,
yes, it is yes to both questions. Selected students will receive around at the beginning of December an invitation letter that you will send to the consolato to apply for the student visa, and then you will have to apply for permesso di soggiorno since this edition is expected to be residential.
Yes, exactly.
So
about this point, we have also an international office that help you about the formalities regarding the permesso di soggiorno, about the visa and so on. Okay, that's don't worry about this. The participation fee depends, of course, what is your position in the list. I think it's paid in two parts.
I think 3 installments.
3 parts. Okay, that's
one of 1,000 euros at the moment of when you enroll into the master, so it will be around the end of December, and then other 2,000 euros at the beginning of the program, and the last 1,000 after 6 months after the beginning of the program, if I'm not wrong, but on the website you find everything about this information. There are all the details. There is, when you enter the website of the master, there is a menu on the left with all this information.
Yes, you can participate. It's not a limitation. We will evaluate your English during the oral interview. Okay, so it's possible eventually even to evaluate if your educational careers, so your career will be held in English, for example, or it's possible to evaluate the English in a different way. Wait, sorry. No, so the selection of the internship will be made typically before the summer holiday. No, Elisa, so this is more or less the period where the internship will be.
Yes, normally from April onwards, companies start sharing their internship the description of their internship position, and we start doing the match between the students and the companies in order to have by the beginning of July at the latest all the matches done, so that all administrative steps can be completed before the beginning of September.
Absolutely, that it's not mandatory to develop to realize the internship in Italy. So it's possible to spend the internship even outside, so in a foreign country, and depends where the company is. That we have not only Italian companies that it's possible to work with this. Maybe in Turin, but not only. Then, so if you want, for example, for the ECMWF, eventually it's possible to go out in the headquarters of the ECMWF in UK, where you can spend the internship. Considering the number of the hour and considering also the audience, the participant that you reach, so you have a Master of Science degree. Yes, there is a theoretical part, but even a discussion about case study, about some practical part, and maybe developing some project, so making some problem solving and so on. Okay, that's and about the exam. Typically, the exam is so depends, but could be a public discussion, could be a specific assignment. So depends. Each course has different roles for the exam and more or less different structure. But yes, it's not only theoretical. There is typically half part of the course dedicated for about the case study or about the practical point of view. For example, for my point of view, for my course with Gianpaolo, we spend more or less 15 hours for the theoretical part, just to discussing with you. But it's not a boring theoretical part. It's a very interactive discussion with you, and there is another 50 hours dedicated for practical activity. It means working with tools or software, so depends. Yes, the class, we hope that the class will start at more or less at the middle of in the second part of January. Okay, so more or less. Okay, so that's just to conclude this webinar. I would like to, first of all, thanks to the other participants, so Gianpaolo and Gustavo, that support me in this webinar. Thank you very much. Thank you, Elisa, for your support, and thank you to the participant. And I'm very happy that you are interested, and I invite you to submit as soon as possible your application, just to be supported by ourselves. And I invite you, if you have a question or so you need more information, please don't hesitate to contact us or to contact, for administrative point of view, the master office. So I hope that we can see in Turin for the third edition of this master.